It was thrilling. It was exciting. It was hard fought. It was nerve-wracking, but the Islanders got it done. They score a 4-2 win over the New York Rangers. We'll have our key takeaways from the game, plus what it means in the Islanders' hunt for the playoffs. All this and more on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you can get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Wow, the New York Islanders score a huge win over the New York Rangers. We'll break it all down for you, but first, if there's something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, feel free to email us at lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever's on your mind. You could also follow the show on X at Locked On Isles. And you can follow me, Gil Martin, on X at Ice Wars, NYR, VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all things Islanders all season long, and I am live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. So join me for some instant insight and analysis, and it's great to talk Islanders hockey with you, game time or anytime. Final score, Islanders 4, Rangers 2, a hard-fought battle at the UBS Arena. And wow, what a game this was for the New York Islanders. This game, I'll say this. The Islanders had their moments. The first period was beautiful. Then they hung on, and yet they were able to do that and hang on and get things done in order to pull out this victory, and it wasn't easy. This game felt like a playoff game. It had the intensity, the rivalry of a playoff game, the dislike of the other team that you see in a playoff game, and the ebb and flow, and the crowd was energized. It was exciting and well played in parts and so poorly played in others. Just an unbelievable game. Hockey, the kind of hockey you want to see game in and game out. And early on, I have to say, that first period was really all Islanders. And they came out from the opening faceoff and looked like the better team. And, Matt Barzal had the breakaway, gets the penalty shot early. And all of a sudden, you're like, woo, big opportunity. But, penalty shot, what is that? That's like a shootout, right? The Islanders don't have a lot of really good shootout players. Barzy didn't really make much of a move, ends up not scoring. But then 3 goals in the first period, each one of them better than the other. Mike Riley gets them started, and then the goal by Bo Horvat, which also featured Casey Cizikas in front. The two of them kind of, stirring things up in front of Igor Shesterkin, and it turned out to be Horvat that tipped it home. And then Kyle Palmieri taps one home, and voila, the Islanders are up 3-0 after one period. They were on top of their game. Some real milestones. I mean, Noah Dobson, 2 assists. That gives him 60 on the season. First Islander defenseman to do that since some guy named Dennis Potvin. I don't even want to think about how long ago that was. The period was just dominated by the New York Islanders. They were ready to play from the opening faceoff. and they were hustling. They were smart with the puck in their own zone. This, you saw it on social media throughout the game. Fans, saying things like, this is the way this team is capable of playing. And it really was. It was really great to see the way this team came out and played and took care of business in that first period. And, if the Islanders could play like they did in the first period for most of the game, this team would be fighting for first place instead of eighth in the Eastern Conference. But, again, they couldn't sustain it. And that was the frustrating thing, because in the second period, the script flipped, absolutely flipped. The Islanders had trouble clearing the puck out of their zone. They started taking penalty after penalty after penalty, 3 straight, as a matter of fact. Riley for interference, Bortuzzo for tripping, Dobson for delay of game. And look, we said everydayers, yesterday on the show, we talked about one of the keys to victory for the New York Islanders in this game: stay out of the box. Rangers power play, top 5 in the league. Islanders penalty kill, last 32nd out of 32 teams in the league. So what happens? You take 3 penalties and you give up 2 power play goals. And after 40 minutes, it's 3-2. And in the third period, again, it's all Rangers. The Rangers are pressing. The Islanders can't clear the puck out of their zone. It was like the Islanders were hanging on for dear life for the better part of the second and third period. And it really started to drive a lot of fans crazy because of the intensity of this game and the way it sort of played out. And, you look at the third period, shots on goal in the third period, Rangers 13, Islanders 4. That's not going to get it done. And, the Islanders were clearly the better team in the first period. It wasn't even close, but they were not the better team in either the second or the third. In the second, obviously being shorthanded for, 3 minor penalties, that's going to get you out of your rhythm. That's going to create issues with ice time. It's going to create issues with fatigue. And the penalty kill remains a major problem for the Islanders. But the difference in this game, when you break it all down, Semyon Varlamov and Varley makes 32 saves in the 34 shots that he faced. And it really, really was an outstanding performance, and it really backs up what Patrick Waugh decided to do by riding Varlamov, the hot hand, and having him go out there in this game against the New York Rangers. Now, a lot of stuff happened in this game, and we're going to get to all of that. Some of the extracurricular activities. We also will have our hero and GOAT of the game, and we will sort of talk about where this leaves the Islanders in the playoff hunt. And each win, and this is the 5th win in a row for the Islanders, each win right now gets them that much closer to clinching a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And boy, it would be huge, for this Islanders team to get in the playoffs. And again, could we have an Islanders Rangers series for the first time since 1994? We're going to find out. We've got a lot to discuss on today's show. We'll talk about it all. Hero and go to the game, our weekly farm report, and oh yeah, our Islanders birthday of the day. A player who was only an Islander for a season and a half, but he was a big part of the team in the late 90s when he was here. We'll talk about that and a lot more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you could do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like matching, assessments, and virtual interviews. Indeed does the hard hiring work for you. Sponsor a job and we'll match you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description right away when you post. With Indeed, you can start hiring fast. So, Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/locked-on to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/locked-on, Indeed.com/locked-on. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Are you watching ESPN or Fox Sports on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, and it's streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So at the end of this game or late in this game, a little extracurricular activity going on in this one, and Noah Dobson involved in that extracurricular activity. No penalty called. It was behind the Islanders' goal or deep behind the goal line at least, and it could have been called a boarding penalty for sure. But no call given, and the Islanders bite the bullet. But here's what it sets up. Like it or not, I guarantee you that Noah Dobson is going to have to drop the gloves on Saturday, whether it's with Vincent Trocheck or whether the Rangers dress Matt Rempe on purpose on Saturday just to go after somebody, whether it's Dobson or whether it's Matt Martin or somebody else. I guarantee you we will see some kind of attempted retribution by the Rangers against Noah Dobson on Saturday afternoon at Madison Square Garden. So one step at a time, but we're definitely going to see that. And, I wanted to also mention, again, everydayers, we talked yesterday about Simon Holmstrom being moved up in the lineup. He was on the left side with Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri on the second line. So how did it work? Well, Simon Holmstrom was a +1, so the line did its job, but Holmstrom did not particularly shine. He didn't look bad. He had one shot on goal. He blocked 3 shots, which is impressive on his part, and played almost 16 and a half minutes. The line as a combination didn't do badly. Brock Nelson had an assist. Anders Lee, of course, scoring the empty net goal in the third period. And again, you have the mixing and the matching of the lines by Patrick Waugh, who likes to experiment. We sort of, he admitted as much, and I don't think it was a surprise, but we'll see whether or not, Holmstrom stays on that second line on Thursday against the Canadiens, or whether or not it goes back to some other combination. But, overall, there's always a short leash for these line changes, it seems. Kudos to Adam Pelech, 6 blocked shots in this game to lead the team. And boy, oh boy, you look at the Islanders, 21 blocked shots, by the defensemen alone. Add the 3 by Holmstrom, Bo Horvat 2, Casey Cizikas 2. We saw Matthew Barzal block 1 that went off of his shin, but thankfully there's padding there. But boy, the effort that the Islanders put into blocking shots was impressive. So it was Adam Pelech 6, Ryan Pollock, Noah Dobson, Alexander Romanov 4 each, Mike Riley 2, Robert Bortuzzo 1. I mean, it was just the effort to block shots. That's what defense is. So we will see how it all plays out. But for the New York Islanders, a big win. And, they made us all nervous, made us wait, made us hold on till the last minute with the shaky second and third periods, but they were able to hold on. Hero and go to the game. Let's start with the GOAT. Without a doubt, go to the game has got to be the penalty kill. You give up 2 goals on the PK. That doesn't help anybody. 3 power plays, 2 goals for the Rangers. So the penalty kill to me, the go to the game. And hero of the game, well, it's got to be Varley. It's got to be Semyon Varlamov. Boy, did he shine in this game. And he is as big a reason as any as to why the New York Islanders were able to get the W. So to me, it's easy. Now, looking at some scoreboard watching, the Capitals played the Red Wings. And right now, that was a big battle because the winner of that game would jump into a playoff spot. Well, the Capitals end up winning 2-1. Thankfully, if you're the New York Islanders, and obviously we're looking at this from an Islanders perspective, the game ended in regulation. So no loser point for Detroit. Washington leapfrogs Detroit. And, that certainly helps the Islanders a little bit. The Philadelphia Flyers, they lose again. They've now lost 8 games in a row. The Canadiens beating them 9-3 in what was very much a blowout game. As of right now, with 3 games left, the Flyers would need to win all 3, and the Islanders would have to go basically 0-3-1 in their last 4 games if the Flyers are going to catch the Islanders. Sabres also lost to Dallas 3-2, so they don't pick up any ground. And I would say New Jersey and Buffalo are, not going to catch the Islanders at this point. They are mathematically unable to do so. So as of right now, the Islanders are in 3rd place in the Metro. They have 87 points with 4 games to go. The Capitals are the second wild card. They have 85 points, 2 points behind the Islanders, again, with 4 games to go. Detroit, 3 points behind the Islanders with 4 games to go. Pittsburgh, 3 points behind the Islanders with 4 games to go. And the Flyers, 6 points behind the Islanders with 3 games to go. So basically, 4 points behind the Islanders with 6 games to go. So the Flyers can almost, it would be almost impossible for them to catch the Islanders. It would be a complete Islanders collapse and a complete reversal for the Flyers to almost win out. But the Islanders are sitting in a great position. And I'll say this, and this is not an easy one, but if the Islanders can beat the Montreal Canadiens on Thursday at home, they will put themselves in one heck of a great position to not just control their own destiny, but to really have a leg up, whether they get 3rd place or the second wild card. They will be in a great position. Now, easier said than done. We all know that, but this team seems to be finding itself right now, and hopefully they can continue to play winning hockey and maybe, just maybe, and I'm not holding my breath on this one, make it a little less nerve-wracking for the fans who are so loyal to this team. And if been through so much over the course of the season. We've got more to get to on today's show. We'll have our weekly farm report on all things Bridgeport Islanders, plus our Islanders birthday of the day, all that and more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and their lowest price guarantee, so Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. And my favorite feature is the view from your seat. You go on the app, you can see what it looks like from your seat before you purchase the tickets, and that takes all the guesswork out of it. Look, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Time for our weekly farm report, and we don't have too many more of these as the season winds down. And Bridgeport played 3 games since our last farm report a week ago, and once again the results were mixed. Last Wednesday, a 4-1 win over the Hartford Wolfpack. That's the Rangers Farm Club. And Aiden Fulp got his first professional goal. That ends up being the game winner. Ken Appleby, 28 saves in this one. Alex Jeffries, who scored his first goal the previous game, scored again. And as did William Dufour and Carson Twarnsky. So multiple point games for Twarnsky and for Brian Pino. And the Islanders end up with that big 4-1 win. However, over the weekend, 2 games. First one on basically the Islanders end up with a 6-3 loss to the Penguins, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. A goal and an assist for William Dufour in this one. Matt Maggio and Dalen Kufler also score. 4 assists, though, for Ty Smith and a hat trick for Austin Rushoff. So the Penguins end up with the win. Ken Appleby relieved Jakub Skarek midway through the game, and the Islanders outshot in this one 33-20. They fall 6-3. And then the following game, a 5-4 shootout loss to the Rochester Americans. Matt Maggio gets another goal, his 16th of the year. Sam Asselin gets a goal and an assist, but it wasn't enough. The Isles were down 4-0, managed to tie it at 4, but ended up losing in the shootout. Another goal for Alex Jeffries and Dennis Chalowski also scoring. And congratulations to Jeff Kubiak for playing his 400th pro game. Ken Appleby, 25 saves, but it wasn't quite enough. Right now, Ruslan Ishkakov remains the leader in goals, assists, and points. 17 goals, 48 points. But Matthew Maggio with 16 hot on his trail. William Dufour with 15 hot on his trail. And yeah, Maggio and Dufour have played less games than Ishkakov. Otto Koivula with 30 points. Brian Pino with 30 points. They're next. Dennis Chalowski leading all defensemen with 7 goals, 28 points on the season. And that's kind of where the Islanders scoring stands in Bridgeport. Jakub Skarek, a 3.15 goals against average, a 7.21-5 record, and an 8.90 save percentage as he continues to be inconsistent, I guess is the best way to put it. And right now, Bridgeport has 4 games left, and they're 7 points behind Springfield in the battle for that final playoff spot, which means that one more loss in any of those 4 games or a win by Springfield essentially ends Bridgeport's rather remote chances of making the playoffs. As for the schedule this weekend, I said there are 4 games left. It's 2 this weekend and 2 the following weekend. The 2 this weekend are on the road. It'll be Friday, a 7:05 Eastern time start at Wilkes-Barre Scranton against the Penguins, and then Saturday, also a 7:05 Eastern start against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. You can catch those road games on AHL TV, and maybe you want to check out some of these Islander prospects. You want to see Ruslan Ishkakov or William Dufour, Matthew Maggio, Alex Jeffries. 2 home games left, Friday, April 19th, Saturday, April 20th, both 7 o'clock Eastern time starts. And you can get tickets for those games and see some of the Islanders' future stars now. So, again, Bridgeport almost certainly not going to make the playoffs this year. A disappointing season for the Islanders, but hey, you want to finish strong, and you got some reasons for hope with Maggio and Dufour finishing strong and Alex Jeffries looking good as he gets his first taste of AHL hockey. All right, time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. And we're a day early here, but Thursday will be the 54th birthday of former Islanders center Trevor Linden. First round pick, second overall by the Canucks back in 1988. Immediately joined the Canucks, scored 30 goals as a rookie, and stayed with the Canucks through the 97-98 season, where he was dealt to the Islanders midway through the year. Had 10 goals in just 25 games in 97-98 for the Isles. Then had a full season, 82 games the following year, 18 goals, 47 points. Those were tough days for the Islanders. They did not make the playoffs either year. He later played for Montreal, Washington, and then finished his career with 6 more seasons with the Canucks. For his career, Trevor Linden, 1,382 games, 375 goals, 867 points, and 895 penalty minutes. He went to the Stanley Cup final with the Canucks in 1994 and played a big role on that team. Had 34 goals and 99 points in 124 playoff games. One of his best games as an Islander, well, March 22nd, 1998, Islanders visiting the Edmonton Oilers. And in this game, Tommy Salo, the goalie for the Isles, Curtis Joseph, the goalie, Cujo, in goal for Edmonton. And Trevor Linden, with the game tied 1-1 in the third, he scores from Tom Chorsky and Kenny Janssen at 12:42. And then 3.5 minutes later, on the power play, he scores again. Robert Reichel and Ziggy Palffy with the assist. Islanders go on to beat the Oilers by a score of 3-1 for Trevor Linden. 2 goals. He's a +1. He had two penalties, so 4 penalty minutes. He had the game winner, and he was on the ice for 19 minutes and 1 second and had 4 shots on goal. So Trevor Linden, who was a big part of some struggling Islanders teams in the late 90s, he is our Islanders birthday of the day. I want to thank you again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day, everydayers. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to get to the mailbag, I promise. I put it off today after this big win over the Rangers. So if you want to get in a mailbag question, please send us that question, and I'll do a segment on all the mailbag questions on Thursday. And of course, we'll preview Thursday night's big game against the Montreal Canadiens, a game that I will be at along with some of you. So looking forward to seeing everybody in person at that game. And, reach out if you want to say hello. If you're not sitting with us, definitely try to do that. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And of course, let's go Islanders.